Hi there, I am Adem Kivas. I am here in Ordu, filled with maddening anger. We continue. Well, again, well, it is. I'm here in Ordu. We are in the pandemic, for God's sake, and yeah, with fury we start again. It is unbelievable how much time I spent to secure my accounts. Well, apparently it is never enough. Some people just can't let go. Whatever it is, I mean, it is annoying, and I can only advise everyone to invest some money to buy secure phones. It is indeed worth it, especially if you see that your phone camera opens while you are on your phone and is making photos of you. Then you are well aware that the phone you bought was probably not worth the money, worth its money, apparently. However, this happens with all phones. I have hideous experience with Samsung phones. However, I mean, it is annoying in that sense. I mean, I waste a lot of my time actually to secure those damn accounts. However, and but it is never secure enough, apparently, as it turned out this week, and it is annoying in that sense. But filled with anger, we continue. We talked about hate. We note that this is that I do not have a clear definition of hate. I want you to go along with me in this journey. It is, if you want, a philosophical journey where we try to inquire hate, what it depends on. And I said that a good approach to hate would be if we do not aim it directly, because then we may some sort of lose track. But in a philosophical way, we try to understand hate. Of course, I mean, I brought some definitions of hate, and those people who might not be familiar with philosophy may wanna ask, yeah, why are we going to inquire a definition of hate? Well, there is indeed a difference between the definition of, or there is indeed a difference between a linguistic definition, and this is what you see in dictionaries, whereas there is a difference between, and there are of course philosophical definitions which rather work with understanding. Of course, there are many streams within the philosophy, but I am heavily influenced by hermeneutic. This is especially in the German sphere very known, especially through Heidegger and Gadamer. And this is rather, and as well as in sociology with Max Weber. So we always try to understand things and hate. I mean, in that sense, it makes sense if we are already filled with hate, or in that to try to understand these emotions, because hate is a very powerful emotion, and we were struggling the last episode to some sort of find a bridge. We found a definition where hate would be aroused by fear, anger, or any disturbances whatsoever, and we try to follow that, try to figure that out, and we some sort of, in a way, rushed to one conclusion, and this is that fear is always about your life, that you fear about losing your life, and so on. I mean, we talked about the definition of noxious, which is in a way harmful. However, we said, or I assumed, that fear would be some sort of an imminent danger of your life, and then you would kind of ask yourself, I mean, it may sound pretty much severe, but you ask yourself, why live, or what we live for? I mean, well, the question was, in a situation of fear, if you are thrown into a lion cage whatsoever, why do you fear? What do you miss And this is indeed a reasonable question if we want to approach fear. I mean, is this only about your life? Do you only think about yourself, about your own future, about your plans? This would mean, I mean, if you are a young man, do you fear of not living those experiences? But then we said this would mean that old people would not have anything to live for, or in general, other people would not have anything to look for, and this is something we then denied. So it has nothing to do with life. It has partially to do with plans. We will inquire further, but one thing we some sort of a concluded is the situation. We said that fear is something which has to be fought in history, or we have to think it in terms that it lasts longer. It is nothing out of an incident. So there has to be some sort of a history of it. I mean, if you fear of being alone, or if you fear of the darkness, there is indeed some sort of history, and as well as if you fear anything, whatever it is, then especially if you try to avoid it, if you make plans to try to avoid something, then you are already thinking about it. Then it is in a way hunting you, whatever it is, and then this has some sort of a tradition history. We I argue that fear, therefore, is something we have to understand, which lasts longer, which is momentum. You know about that fear has always an object. You fear something, even though it is imaginatory, even though it is subconscious. Those who believe in a subconscious, I mean, I would not say that it is stupid. I mean, that is indeed a subconscious, and I think without a subconscious, we would not be able to manage our daily life, because a subconscious is rather memory. It doesn't matter what you think about the psychoanalysis, but the psychoanalysis under Freud, we said, or I said, this is my opinion, that this is rather philosophy. Nevertheless, the psychoanalysis tried to find a way to make the subconscious visible. There is as well as some approaches to C.G. Jung, Carl Gustav Jung, who then founded the analytical psychology. However, in general, you there is a subconscious, because without your subconscious, your memory would not work. I mean, if you have been living like me, uh, I'm over 30. I'm in my 30s. If you have been living as long as I have, or even longer, then you know that all your memory in your past, even if you do not think of it, even though at this very moment I do not know what happened or I do not think about my youth, or whatever. Nevertheless, it is part of me. It is in my memory. It is in my subconscious, and whenever I need it, think it, whatever, it is there. So in a way, this memory, we have to say, we have that which works like a subconscious. Indeed, it is questionable whether the psychoanalysis, if they are focused on this uh, sexual desire, whether it is really whether it really leads somewhere or not. Note, there were a lot of people within the psychoanalysis who criticized this approach, this fixation of to one point, and we somehow agreed with this. We called it micro-utilitarism, and therefore we try to go beyond this, and we said that fear has an objective. We fear anything we might fear about our future as well. And something we have to add, I mean, this is psychological thing as well. I mean, if we assume that a young, or that anyone however, would fear about his future. For example, you are young, you have made your self plans for your future. However, we never know whether these plans would have been succeeded whatsoever. And of course, it implies that in a young age you would have to know what life is, how you live, and so on. So plans, in a way, has nothing to do with it. It is rather the threat itself. And of course, we have then said, yeah, or we have to think about the fact, yeah, what are your future plans? I mean, your future plans can be something tomorrow, something whatever you wanna be. This is very important. We desire something, we want something, we have this innate motivation of us to be someone. This means that our plans, our ideas of life, these are part of us. So our future is rather something we wanna be, or we have been doing all along. I mean, you have been living on this world, you have been living on your place or whatever because of the life you thought fit, because of you thing you want to accomplish, you did not accomplish. Life does not work that way. I mean, you cannot always accomplish whatever you want. Sometimes this does not work. Nevertheless, our failures and errors define us as well, so they are part of our future life. In that sense, I mean, if we think about it, well, we have to some sort of detach ourselves from the belief that these future plans or these ideas, what I want to be in the future, would be some sort of separate from me. Not at all. The person you are, or the reason why you are here, why you act in a certain way, these are responsible for your plans whatsoever. So this means you desire something because of your personality. So this desires, plans, whatever has something to do with you. So you might fear for your life because you could lose your self or your own identity, and this pretty much falls back. Or this is where we see, yeah, we did not come far, or we did not get far, far with this thought. I mean, or that we did not come to an understanding. Why would anyone fear death? I mean, this is indeed a reasonable question. And then we, of course, want to think, yeah, what happened when you think about others too? I mean, is this all egoistic? Do we only think about ourselves in the wake of danger, or do we think about friends, about family? Do we want to see them? I mean, one phase of fear is what we have to be, and we will talk about it briefly. And this is, of course, in a way, is fear biological? Is it rather, if you want, a reflex? If you feel, or is it rather something in your brain? Is it something social? This is indeed a very question we will try to figure out, but it somehow is interdependent. I mean, imagine you have a loved one, imagine a love couple or whatever, and in the wake of fear, if you fear for your life or whatever, do you think about your loved ones? Because we heard a lot of people before, some people before they died, that they would think about their closed ones. Some people think about dying, others whatever of pain, about past issues or whatever. But imagine you think about your loved one. What do you fear? Or that something could hurt your loved one, but let's be in this ego perspective. So you fear for your life because assume that you can't see your loved one ever again. But then you have to be aware, what do you fear? Do you fear that you will not see your loved one again, or do you fear, especially the pleasure do you fear in the wake of danger that you will